Hello everybody and welcome to the Tallahassee Leon County Civic Center. It's championship basketball here on Primetime Sports. We've got a doubleheader for you today. First, the Class A state semifinal game between Hollywood Christian and Florida A&M University. Joining me, the coach of the South Miami Cobras, Charlie Funk. And Charlie, this is a tough game for Hollywood Christian, the challengers. They're the #1 team in the state. They're 31-0, but yet they're coming in here as the visitors in a hostile atmosphere against a hometown team, Tallahassee's Florida A&M High. What do you tell your team in a situation like that?
Well, I think one thing the coach has to be aware of, like you said, he's coming up here into a very hostile area. Florida A&M High School is definitely going to have the crowd behind them since the tournament's played here in Tallahassee. I think they have to come out and try to control the tempo the way they want to play the game this evening so they can try to take the crowd out of the ball game.
Now, this team, the challengers, have cohesiveness as one of their big pluses. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. 7 of the 9 players for the Christian school have played together since the 7th grade. So you can see they play a lot of ball games behind them. So they know each other very well.
Now that's got to be a big advantage, but the big advantage that FAMU's got for them, the Baby Rattlers have played a very tough schedule. They come in 20-11, but that's really deceiving.
Right. 3 of their losses was to Rickards High School, who's the #1 team in 3A. And the last time they played them, it went right down the wire. It was a 4-point game, and it went down to the final shot. So they have a very, very good team, and it's going to be a very good ball game.
Now our second game tonight, it's #2 versus #1, Jacksonville beats Fletcher against Miami High. I know you spent a lot of time with Shaky Rodriguez today. What's going through their minds today?
Well, first of all, Shaky told me that he knows this is going to be one of his hardest challenges coming up here to play in the state tournament. Because first of all, if he can beat Fletcher, who's the #1 team in the state, then he'll have to play Oviedo, who is I think #4 team in the state. Fletcher is a very big team. They average about 6'7", 6'8" across the front line. Their point guard's very good. He's about 6'3", plus their off guard's a 6'5" ball player. They have very talented, and they try to run when they get the opportunity. Plus, they'll be playing a lot of matchup zone against Shaky.
Now, what is Miami High going to try to do to counteract a guy like Tony Dingle? He's 6'8" and their second leading scorer.
Well, one thing Shaky says he's going to do is he'll be changing defenses a lot. You know, he'll be using his diamond press. He's going to play man-to-man. He's going to use some soft traps and some hard traps. So, you know, he's going to show him everything, and then he's going to go with whatever goes best for him.
Now, the big question in everybody's mind after they saw our game last week, Stevie Edwards went down with a knee injury. He came back to a standing ovation, but the knee's still got to be a little tender. Right,
but Stevie will be ready to play. When it comes down to the big game, the cream comes to the top, and Stevie will put on a performance for everyone here in Tallahassee.
Well, the scene is set from the Tallahassee Leon County Civic Center. It's the Class 1A and the Class 4A semifinals. The winners go to the state championship. We'll have the starting lineups and the opening tip after this. Well, ladies and gentlemen, just about ready for the 1A semifinal. Hollywood Christian 31-0, Florida A&M 20-11. The starting lineups for the Baby Rattlers, they're considered the visitors on the scoreboard. It's Brian Lamb, Sam Madison, a 6'1 senior, Marcus Robinson, Delwyn Jackson, and their center, Marlon Williams, a 6'2 junior, number 55. For the challengers, Tony Smith and Zanjay Lee in the backcourt, Alex Laguno and Louis Heron in front court, and Rod Say is the center. However, it will be Say to jump center. The 6'4 sophomore gets the ball in control of Laguno, and we're underway in the 1A semifinal. A good crowd on hand for the challengers here. They must have brought the whole school and then some here. About 1,000 people have showed up to support the challengers. Underneath, a foul on the play, and it will be on Sam Madison.
Personal foul on Sam Madison, his team first.
So with 11 seconds to play, Hollywood Christian gets the free throw opportunity with Rod Say. Say during the year averaged 14.6 points a game and 7.2 rebounds a game. And the challengers on the board first. And he makes them both, 2-0. Charlie always will like to have the lead right off the bat in a hostile situation.
That's a very good point there for Holiday Christian, because with this kind of hostile crowd, they have to try to take them out of the game as soon as they can.
Into the paint, losing the ball and still having it go up was Madison, but the rebound brought down. And here is Zanjay Lee, and gives off to the point guard, Tony Smith. Smith dribbles all the way down in the corner, dishes off behind him to Louis Heron. Smith, a three-point try, off the iron, no good. Offensive rebound and a putback by Say, it's no good, and over the top, the ball is slapped away from Alex Laguno. So it's still Challenger basketball with 7:15 to go here in the first quarter.
The Baby Rattlers going to have to do a little bit better job screening off the boards.
Count it for Zanjay Lee. 4-0 in favor of the Challengers. Marlon Williams double teamed in the corner, goes into the paint. Loose basketball picked up by Brian Lamb. He puts it up and in. And the Baby Rattlers are on the board. Ron Lang, the head coach of the Baby Rattlers. His father, Ray Lang, is the track coach at Florida A&M University. And also coached this same high school team some 10-15 years ago. Inbound play to Laguno, dishes off, three-point try, count it, Zanjay Lee. He's got 5 of the 7, and it's 7-2, 6:40 to go. Challengers on top, first quarter. Madison dribbles into the corners, got some problems, goes way up high, ball taken away. Tony Smith on the breakaway layup, count it. Quickly a 9-2 lead for the Challengers. What a great feeling for them, Charlie.
Well, I'll tell you, they're playing very good man-to-man pressure defense out there. They're really helping out.
Outside jumper is no good. Battle underneath for the board. Brought down nicely by Rod Say. Ball nearly thrown away, but saved by Louis Heron. Bounce pass into Say. Loses it in the paint and called for the palm. So 6:01 to go, 9-2 is our score in favor of the Challengers. And they're back to setting up the defense and waiting for the Baby Rattlers. Marlon Williams sees a bunch of arms outside, so that's where he'll pass it into the paint, and the shot does go in for Lamb. It was ugly, but it counted. That's a very good drive there for Lamb. He's our leading scorer for a sophomore. He's averaging 19 points a ball game. Ball slapped away by Lamb and the sophomore. Well, they called the block. It was close. I thought it was a pretty good call. I didn't think the player had position for Hollywood Christian. And Tony Smith does pick up the foul.
Foul is on Tony Smith, his first, team first.
Good look at Lamb, 6'2" sophomore, averaging 19 points a game. And the inbound goes to Marlon Williams. Lamb with a bounce pass back to Williams. Williams with a foot on the three-point line, goes into the paint. Nice pass there with a bucket. Very good entry pass. It looks like they're definitely trying to get the ball to the inside. Foul down in the corner on Marlon Williams. Delwyn Jackson was in real good position that time, Charlie, to get that entry pass too. Very, very good inside position he had. It looks like Hollywood Christian is going to start to try to pick up the tempo, because it looks like they're going to try to push the ball up the court as quick as they can, because when you score 120-some points a game, you've got to be going with the ball. And that's exactly what they did to Inter-American, 122-61 in the sectional. That's really hard to fathom. It really is, a score 122 points. It takes us 2 games to get 122 points. Now, I've seen you guys play. That's not true. Maybe a game and a half. A game and a half. Lamb takes it into the corner on the bounce pass. They try that entry pass again, but it's slapped away. It looks like they're trying too hard right now to get the ball in the middle, and Hollywood Christian just sagging on the inside, and they're going to have a little hard time on the entry pass. Poor shot selection that time. Good steal, though, back the other way. Delwyn Jackson with a pull-up jumper off the glass, and it bounces in. That was a very good shot. That's what he has to do. He has to use the board on that shot, and that's exactly what he did. Come up shooting the ball very nice off the steal. And the Baby Rattlers climb back into it again, 9-8 with 4:25 to go first quarter. Rod Say guarded by Brian Lamb on the outside. Slips and falls. Basketball goes to Sam Madison. Madison, bounce pass inside. Delwyn Jackson counted. 6 points for Delwyn Jackson, and it's 10-9.
It looks like for Hollywood Christian, they have to get the ball to Tony Smith to bring the ball up the court. They're looking like they're trying to enter him the ball, and then the rest of the guys are getting down the floor.
No rebounding position that time. Sanjay Lee's three-point try is no good. Nice spin move.
Nice spin move.
And it goes in for Brian Lamb. Hollywood Christian needs a timeout here, Charlie.
Yeah, I think they better do something, because I think they must have ran off about 6 or 7 straight points.
Blocking foul underneath. That's a break for Hollywood Christian. One bad thing for Hollywood Christian has been their shooting here. They're 2 for 5 3-point tries, 1 for 4, so they're 3 for 9 here in the first quarter, and that's why all of a sudden they've fallen behind.
That's right, and the Rattlers got the ball inside, plus they got 2 key steals there to put them right back in the ball game. Matter of fact, they're ahead right now by 3 points with 3:39 to go in the ball game.
At the line, it'll be Tony Smith. Makes his first free throw, and he's got 3 points in the quarter. Well, they jumped up to a 9-2 lead, and since then, it's been all Baby Rattlers. 12-11 now. It's a 10-2 run here for the Baby Rattlers in the first quarter.
Ricky Reamer just entered the game for Hollywood Christian, replacing Tony Smith.
Well, let's see if Ricky Reamer can help him out. Ricky Reamer, he's probably one of the smallest guys out on the court at 5'6".
Senior, he ended up averaging about 3.5 points a game this year for the Challengers.
Entry pass.
And you can see what they're trying to do. They're posting Ricky up because he's the smallest guy on the floor, and they're going to try to isolate him down low so they can get the ball down low to whoever he's guarding on the blocks.
And the foul inside called on Rod Say. That is his first and the team's second. Lamb will go to the free throw line. 6 points here in the first quarter. He and Delwyn Jackson have the combined total of 12. For the Baby Rattlers, he now has 7, and that was their first free throw in the quarter.
Brian's averaging 19 points a game.
Second try, bounces off the back of the iron, and Alex Iagano gets the rebound. There's Ricky Reamer.
And then you could just see when he came in, they tried, the pressure picked up a little bit for the Rattlers.
Make that Delwyn Jackson with the slam. 8 points for him, and that gets the Baby Rattlers crowd up. Louis Heron with a pull-up jumper, and that ends the bleeding for the Challengers as they finally get a field goal after about a 2.5 minute break there.
Now let's see if they try to isolate him again. No, he's out front. They're still trying to pop the ball down low, and they're getting...
It's very successful going to Delwyn Jackson. He's got 10, and it's 17-13. So Delwyn Jackson and Brian Lamb have really led the charge for the Baby Rattlers, and they're up 17-13 here in the first quarter.
And it's strictly an inside game. They're getting the ball inside. They're establishing good position on the inside. Hollywood Christian's going to have to start fronting the guy, otherwise they're going to enter the ball every time, and plus score, and they're going to cause a lot of fouls in there. The Rattlers will be going to the free throw line.
On the offensive side, they've been committing a lot of turnovers here in the first quarter. They got to try and cut those down too. Backcourt, there's another one. Do you attribute that to just first quarter jitters here?
I don't know. In some of the games I've noticed here, they bring out a new ball every time they play a game, and I really think that's part of the problem.
You get the slippery surface on the new ball?
Off the ball, right. I know both teams have to face it, but I noticed throughout the game, the other games that played here in the state, I've heard some of the other coaches complain about that.
Interesting. Reamer saves the ball, and it goes to Sanjay Lee. He drives the baseline, goes off his leg. That's about the 4th straight turnover down on the offensive side.
I'll tell you one thing, the Rattlers are definitely picking up their defense. And that's what turned the game around. Like Rick said, with that added pressure, it's causing the Challengers a lot of problems.
Remember, the Challengers come in here with a 31-game winning streak.
And this is probably going to be their toughest task so far. I know Inter-American had a very good team down in Miami, and you saw what they did to Inter-American. They had 2 guys get over 60 points, and they won the game by about 50 or 60 points. I think it was 122 to 62 or something like that.
Well, it wasn't pretty, but it sure went in for Rod Say. He's got 4 points. It's a 2-point game at 17:15, a minute and a half to go. 3-point try counted for Delwyn Jackson. 13 first quarter points for number 33 of the Rattlers, Ricky Reamer. Jump shot, Smith in and out. Quick outlet pass, and here comes Brian Lamb. Lamb dribbles behind his back around Reamer and dishes off behind him. We're going to get a 3-second or a travel. It'll be a travel
call.
That's a break for the Challengers. Substitution in for the Challengers. Marquis Wright comes into the game, 6'1" junior, and Louis Heron goes out.
Reamer's still in the ball game, handling the ball for the Challengers.
Haven't seen Tony Smith in a while. Zanjay Lee hits the bucket. He's got 7. Back to a 3-point game under a minute now. 20-17. Reamer gets the turnover. It's 4 on 3, and the ball is loose and a jump ball. Possession, though, favors FAMU.
I'll tell you, it's going to be a fast-paced game. Each team's going to have their up and their downs in a game like this.
Perhaps we may see the last shot, but the way the game is going, maybe not, as Kelvin Farrell brings it up for the Baby Rattlers. There's a good matchup with Reamer. They're going to call Reamer for the block. I say that, Farrell's 5'7", Reamer's 5'6".
Yeah, and they're 2 pretty scrappy ball players.
Reamer looks like maybe he weighs about 140 pounds soaking wet, and he's not given an inch.
Back in comes Tony Smith now. Tony's really one of the keys to their team because he's the one that gets the ball up and gets it to the right men. He knows how to push the ball up, and he's going to help immensely defense because he's a lot bigger than Reamer. He's 5'11" and much stronger.
Bounce pass into the corner. That's a 2-point try that's no good, and the tap, though, counts for Sam Madison. He's the first player other than Jackson or Lamb to get on the scoreboard. 22-17 with 15 seconds to go first quarter. Smith with that cross-court pass. A legitimate block, but a follow by Say. It's no good, and another block underneath with 4 seconds on the clock.
I'll tell you what the Rattler is. They have to block out a little bit better. They're good jumpers, but it's like any typical kid. They all want to jump. They don't want to block out. They just have to keep them off the boards.
Sam Madison picks up his 2nd foul. Team's 4th. And to the line will go Artis Felder. Felder, 6'3" junior. This is going to be very important for the Challengers to hit all their free throws because they're going to spend some time at the free throw line tonight in a strange arena where you're not used to the court. That's a big advantage, hitting those free throws. And the quarter will end in a 4-point game as the 10K sign nearly gets plastered there. 22-18 is the first quarter score with Florida A&M High School on top. We'll be back with the second quarter in just a minute. Ready to start the second quarter now.
Tony Smith's back in the game for the Challengers.
And the layup brought in by Marquis Wright. He's got 2 points now, and it's back to a 2-point game. That's exactly what they needed to start things off here in the second quarter.
But they got to pick up their defense, Rick.
Rod Say will bring it up to tie it in, and he does with a monster slam. That's a big bucket and a big momentum mover now for the Challengers.
Yes, it is.
Myron Williams, the twin brother of Marlon Williams, is in the game for the Rattlers. He's wearing 44.
And you can see how the defense just picked up a little bit right there.
Inside, ball slapped away in the paint. Marlon Williams can't get it. Rebound brought down by Artis Felder. Here's Tony Smith quickly up court. Into the paint, the layup counted. What a nice play.
Very good move. You can see he's one of the keys of the team. they're looking to get him the ball, and then he's just taking it up court and trying to hit one of the wing players who run the lanes.
A 6-0 run to start the quarter here for the Challengers. Williams with a shot, and that's the third straight shot they've missed. Quickly, here come the Challengers. Loose ball picked up, though, by Kelvin Farrell. 2-on-1. Blocking foul, no basket. And the foul will be on Tony Smith, his second. And Coach Ken Cannon gets up. He's hot over that call. He thought Tony Smith had planted.
I'll tell you, in one way, it was a good move where he didn't let him get the basket. In the other way, that's Tony's second foul, and he needs to be on the floor. You can see that when he comes in, he just changes the game because he pushed the ball up the court. A
calculated gamble now by the Challengers coach Ken Cannon. They have to take Tony Smith out because of that foul.
Yes, he just did. Reamer's back in the ball game.
See if Reamer can pick up the slack that Tony Smith left. But you can really tell the difference, Charlie, with Tony Smith in there.
There's no doubt about it.
Turnaround jumper from the corner is no good. Going high for the rebound, Marquis Wright. Ricky Reamer with a cross-court pass. The shot is up and no good by Felder, but he is fouled underneath.
Hey, Felder took the ball to the basket very well that time.
John Van Humphrey, who's in the game for the Rattlers, picks up the foul.
I'll tell you, this is going to be a game. It looks like it's going to go right down the wire. These teams are going to go at each other the full ball game.
That was not the case in the first one. In the first 1A semifinal, as Jacksonville Trinity Christian bombed Belglade Christian School 80-61, and the score wasn't as close as the game was.
No, it wasn't.
Or the other way around, the game wasn't as close as the score was.
That's right.
Felder now 2 for 4 at the free throw line, but it's a 3-point Challenger lead with 6:20 to go before halftime. This is Brian Lamb, the sophomore, bringing it up court.
Okay, now it looks like they went into a zone, a 3-2 zone.
Forces the outside shot, but Jackson hits it.
Hits a 2.
15 points for Delwyn Jackson.
The Rattlers are still staying in their man-to-man defense.
Ricky Reamer with a bounce pass inside. The turnaround jumper is no good by Harry Kennedy. And here come the Baby Rattlers with a chance to go ahead now. They trail 25-24 with 5:48 on the clock.
Okay, they're still in their zone defense. Looks like a 3-2. It looks like they're going to give them the shots.
Kind of the strategy that Boyd Anderson employed with Miami High in the first half, giving them the outside shot.
And we all know what happened there.
Yes, sir. And it bounces around for Brian Lamb. He's got 9, and the Rattlers go back out in front, 26-25. A game of streaks here.
That's right, just like we were talking about before. It looks like Hollywood Christian's going to have to go back to their man-to-man defense.
Marquis Wright with a nice move.
And the Rattlers want to run a sideline break. You can see because Brian, when he brings the ball, is looking always down the right-hand side to get the ball down into Madison or Marcus.
Oh, offensive foul called away from the basketball on Kelvin Farrell. That's a break for the Challengers right there.
We got a 1-point game with about approximately 5 minutes to go in the ball game, 27-26. Rattlers still in their man-to-man defense.
Right off the glass, it's no good. Ricky Reamer fights for that rebound. Look at the smallest guy on the court. And there goes the bucket. Artis Felder, but give Ricky Reamer all the credit there, Charlie. He made it happen.
Yes, he did. He stole the ball and made a very nice pass. A great assist. That's what you look for in your point guard. They got knowing when and where to give it up. That was a great assist.
Coach Ken Cannon gets off the bench talking to Wright, giving him some instruction. Meanwhile, at the line, Artis Felder, who is 2 for 4, will try and add his 5th point of the first half. And he does, and it's a 30-26 lead for the Challengers.
Well, they're still in their zone defense. 3-2.
Back out high, 3-point try. Lamb, count it.
Good shot.
12 points for Brian Lamb.
I'll tell you, ever since they went to their zone defense, it looks like the Rattlers in a little groove here.
27 points, the combined total for Jackson and Lamb of the 29. Three-point try outside, no good, loose ball. And here come the Baby Rattlers with Marlon Williams with a dish off to Lewis. Offensive foul called on Kenny Lewis.
Okay, that's the second offensive foul I think that we've seen so far in the first half already. That's a very good defensive job by the challengers. They know the Rattlers are going to go to the basket, so they're going to stay there and take the charge.
Harry Kennedy will inbound and does so to Wright. Wright with 4 first half points gives off to Felder. Felder guarded by Van Humphreys. In the corner, the shot off the iron. That's the one thing they're not getting is any second tries.
No, they're not. Nice pass.
Lamb with a quick pass and a good play. Kenneth Lewis now with 2. The Rattlers back up 31-30 to 3:42, and we'll see a reaching foul inside, I think perhaps on Lewis.
Yeah, he has to move his feet a little bit more. He's standing too straight up, and that's why he got that foul. He has to get over a little bit. He has to bend down a little bit. Move his feet a little bit.
Sorry, Charlie. Delwyn Jackson picks up his second foul, so there could be some trouble down the line. He's got 15 points, but picks up his second foul.
He has a real nice touch, Delvin. But like you said, he has to learn what the situation is. He's in a state semifinal game. You can't make any stupid fouls.
And Ron Lang recognized that and yanked him right off the court.
Right.
Well, the spark plug comes back in. One of the spark plugs for Hollywood Christian, Zanjay Lee, comes in. 31-31, 3:42 before halftime.
This is just the type of game that we expected. A high-scoring ball game. Rickards this year, I mean, the Rattlers, they played Rickards 3 times, and the last time it was a very good ball game. And you know Rickards is the #1 team in 3A, plus they also beat Miami High up here in Tallahassee.
That's inside the 3-point line. The shot was no good by Farrell. Felder got the rebound. Better hurry up and dish that sucker off or you're going to get called for 10 seconds. And the ball taken away, 2-on-1, and count the basket for Kelvin Farrell. A little complacency cost him 2. Ricky Reamer trying to get it into front court. Finally does.
It's a good job by Ricky getting the ball up.
Felder off the back of the iron. The tap is no good. Ball's up in the air. Felder gets the rebound in the paint. Better hurry and get out of there. 3 seconds. Felder seemed like he was there for a campfire.
Forever. That's right.
33-32 in favor of the Baby Rattlers from Florida A&M University High School.
The officials doing this game today are from Fort Myers.
Officials from all over the state up here, 3 from each county that's involved in, or each district that's involved in the playoffs. Offensive goaltending is a call. There's a big break. One of the players touched the cylinder, touched the ball in the invisible area of the cylinder, and that negated the shot.
Okay, what they're doing is they just cleared out a little bit for Reamer so he could bring the ball up, and now they've done a better job getting the ball up the court. At least he has.
Zanjay Lee, 3-point try, count it. That's a big basket there. That's 10 for him, 35-33 challengers with 2:13 to go before halftime.
Well, they're still in their zone defense. Nice pass.
That's a crisp pass. Unfortunately, the shot selection wasn't so good. Kelvin Farrell saw the opening and just fired that ball in.
That's when you're playing that zone defense. You have to keep your hands up.
Entry pass to Lee. His fall-away jumper is no good. Loose ball picked up by the Rattlers. Myron Williams quickly 3-on-2. The layup by Lamb is no good. And Lee comes up with the ball. They're having a lot of trouble holding on to it, though.
Like I told you, there are complaints up here that they're using. Each game they bring out a new ball, and that's what they got to use during the ball game. And the ball is very slippery.
Brian Lamb's got it. 1:24 on the clock. And the challengers with a 2-point lead, 35-33. Lamb moves around Ricky Reamer and puts it in and ties the game up.
With a minute 10 to go, so we have a tie ball game here, 35 all.
Pull-up jumper by Lee. He is fouled by Brian Lamb. And Lee will go to the free throw line. You know, we're talking about a high-scoring game at 35-35 first half. You say, well, what do you mean by that? Well, the final score in the 4A semifinal game between Gibson and Oviedo was 42-37. That's what we're talking about.
That's right. It's just a different pace game, but what we're seeing here right this afternoon.
Lee hits the free throw. Tony Smith comes back into the game now.
It looks like the crowd's picking up here a little bit, people.
Yeah, they're anticipating that second game of our doubleheader here, the Miami High game against Jacksonville Beach Fletcher. Offensive rebound for the Challengers, keeps the ball on their side, but the shot missed there, and the rebound by Marlon Williams. 50 seconds on the clock now, and it's a 1-point lead for the Challengers. Brian Lamb into the paint, thought he traveled and got away with it, followed his own shot and put it in. He's got 16 points. Ricky Reamer brings it up court now with 35 seconds on the clock. Lee with 28 seconds on the clock. Turnaround jumper is no good, loose basketball. Tony Smith got it, puts up a three off the iron. 16 seconds on the clock, and the ball is saved out of bounds over there by Farrell. Farrell
Nice
with a
pass.
dish off to Lamb. Lamb's shot is rejected with 8 seconds. Great play over there by Say. Tony Smith with 3 seconds, dishes off. 2 seconds on the clock, and we get a whistle as the buzzer goes off. So with no time on the clock, it'll be a Challenger free throw attempt for the right to go in at halftime with the lead. These are real important for the Challengers, Charlie.
Yep, because right now the Challengers can make it, they could have a 1-point lead or possibly be tied or go in just like it is. And a lot of times these last points right here at the end could set the tone for the second half. Very big free throws right here.
2 shots here for Zanjay Lee. Well, at worst, we'll be tied.
Tied at halftime.
Even that's a lift.
That's right.
And that's what we'll have.
Okay, after 16 minutes of basketball, people, in the Tallassee Civic Center, the game is tied 37-37.
Let's give you some quick halftime statistics here. First, shooting-wise for Florida A&M, they are 17 for 30 in the field, 2 for 3 from the outside to three-point tries, and they were only 1 for 2 in the first half of the free throw line. Their leading scorer, Brian Lamb, was 16, Delwyn Jackson with 15. For the other side, the Challengers, 14 for 30, a little less than 50%, 3 for 7 from the three-point line, but the big stat is 11 for 15 at the free throw line. Zanjali with 12 and 7 points for Artis Felder. Charlie Funk, the key in the second half for the Challengers, I would think, is to get Delwyn Jackson in foul trouble.
Right, it looks like he's definitely their go-to guy. But I was very impressed the way Brian Lamb handled himself for a sophomore. I thought he did a very good job bringing the ball up the court and dishing off. And of course, he hit a 3 there one time. Very impressed with him, but like you said, it looks like Delvin's their go-to man, averaging 21 points a ball game. He can shoot, and they're going to have to keep him off the boards.
The other thing that Hollywood Christian has to worry about is Tony Smith with the 2 fouls and foul trouble. They really need him on the court.
Yeah, Tony's definitely the key to their offense. They definitely look to get him the ball, and the other guys run the lane pretty good, but they have to get him the ball. When he gets the ball, he really pushes the ball up the court. He does a very good job with that.
The Rattlers start the third quarter possession off, and they bring it up court with Brian Lamb. 37-37. Inside shot goes up and in for Delwyn Jackson.
He looks to pound the ball right inside again. That's a nice way to start the quarter. Come out and put the pressure right on the Challengers.
Say gives off to Yagano. His shot is up, no good. Off his foot. And I tell you what, that was a break. I thought it went off Zanjay Lee.
That's what it looked like. But I guess the fish are a little closer than us.
breakaway slam dunk for Delwyn Jackson.
I'll tell you, I guarantee you Delwyn also plays football and runs track up here. You see him get down the floor. Now you could just see the intensity pick up a little bit for defensively for the Rattlers. They're overplaying a little bit on the wing area.
This is Louis Heron, and he got a break there because the ball went right to Logano. And here come the Rattlers, 4-on-2. Dish off, and a nice save. Unfortunately, it goes back to the Baby Rattlers by Tony Smith. Loose ball, players go flying, and the ball somehow stayed in bounds.
You can just see the Rattlers, they've really picked up this intensity. They're coming out now.
Heron gives the ball off to Tony Smith.
With a minute and a half to go in a quarter, they scored the only 4 points of the ball game so far in this quarter.
Challengers have to make one on this time down. Smith can't get it. Loose ball right back at Smith, and he gets fouled going up again. So a break there.
I think that foul was on Brian Lamb. He can't afford another foul.
That would be his second. So Lamb and Delwyn Jackson each with 2. They pick up a third, and that's a huge break for the Challengers. Meanwhile, Tony Smith, who was 2 for 2 in the first half at the free throw line and has 6 points, will go to the line for a pair. Seven points now for Tony Smith. He's averaging 10.3 points a game, and he misses the second one. Jackson from the outside.
I like that Delwyn Jackson. He's a nice ball player. 6'2" senior, averaging 21 points a game.
And he's got his average here in the third quarter with 21. Three-point try is no good by Lee, and here come the Rattlers one more time. They're already on a 6-1 run. And here comes Tony Smith back the other way, 2-on-3. Smith into the paint, lays it up, no good. The follow by Say is no good, and a jump ball. It will be Rattlers basketball.
Timeout Challengers.
And they definitely need a timeout here with 5:48 to go, trailing by 5.
I think during that timeout, the Challengers coach had to tell them they have to start to get the ball inside. They've taken a few outside shots. They got to be a little bit more patient. They're coming down shooting the ball a little too quick. They have to get the ball inside to Say. Let him go to the basket.
Discussion going on at the scorer's table as to where that possession light originally was. It was the Rattlers basketball. They switched the light, and that's what confused everybody. And now they've awarded the ball back to the Challengers. I don't know what happened, but somehow they got the basketball, and that's what matters. They go underneath, and the shot goes up and in for Logano. He's got 4, and they really needed that 2-pointer.
Yes, they did. They had to get back. That's their first basket. Now they're still in their man-to-man defense.
Nice save. And the Rattlers maintain possession of the ball. Outside shot by Madison is no good. Williams with the rebound, and he'll go to the line as well.
Very good shot there.
Williams went high and got hacked on the arm by either Heron or Laguna.
Foul is on Alex Laguna, his first.
That was a foul on Alex Laguna. That was his first foul.
Marlon Williams will go to the line. This is only the 3rd free throw attempt for the Baby Rattlers in the game. And he missed it.
Missed everything. But he fouled up his shot.
Couldn't come down.
And Say came down with the rebound. So if they could have scored there, we could have had the biggest lead of the game so far. It could have been a 7-point game.
Shot was partially blocked. And it'll still be Challenger basketball.
And you see the Rattlers are playing man-to-man defense on the out-of-bounds. Last time, the Challengers got a layup in there. This time they decided to throw it back.
They go with that deep inbound play to Tony Smith. Say on the outside, stops at the free throw line, gives off Laguna. He pops the jumper. It's no good. Heron got the rebound. Turnaround jumper for him, no good. Got to hit that second opportunity. Nice try by Lee, but the ball kicked out of bounds. 4:58 to go third quarter. 45-40 FAMU.
Very big possession. Okay, now we'll see what the Rattlers try to do. Easy, just takes him one-on-one right to the basket and hits a 10-foot jump shot.
Lamb now with 18 points, and here's your biggest lead of the game, 7 points. Game starting to slip away from the challengers. Outside shot, boy, they're having a horrendous time here.
They're going to the outside. You would think they'd try to get the ball to the inside. Here they go again.
And a nice layup.
They need a timeout here, people, pretty soon. It's already a 9-point ball game with 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go.
2 of 10 shooting here in the third quarter for the challengers, and that's why they've fallen behind. Traveling is the call, a break for the challengers. 9-point lead, biggest lead in the game. And when you shoot,
the challengers will have to try to get the ball on the inside. They got to get to the post players because they have to draw some fouls. There's only been 2 fouls called in the whole first.
There's the travel.
4 minutes of the third period.
When you shoot 2 for 10, you got to improve your shooting. The only way you can do that is to go inside.
You have to go inside with the ball. Their perimeter game left them right now that they have to get the ball to the inside. Okay, the Rattlers are coming down with the ball again. They're passing and picking away. And now they look to dump the ball on the inside.
Williams tries to go inside, but it's kind of pushed out of there by Laguno, so they go for the outside shot.
Jackson.
And Jackson has 23 points. Well, he definitely made all tournament, that's for sure.
I would say he has a good step towards it.
Nice dish off underneath. Say can't hit the easy one off the board. He's having all kinds of problems here in this second half.
It's a crime. They get the ball inside and then they miss a short bunny. With 3:34 to go, the Baby Rattlers have 11-point lead, 51-40. Felder just entered the game for the challengers.
And Louis Heron goes out, so changing the lineup perhaps for a little bit more speed in there and hoping for the best. Let's see what happens now for the challengers as Farrell brings it up in front court. Brian Lamb has got it. He's guarded by Lee. The shot is no good. Going high is Felder. Felder in there to help the rebounding out. Say gets the ball down low. Shot off the glass. Boy, he can't buy one here in the second half. Loose basketball, and it goes underneath right inside to Logano. And here come the challengers with Smith with a long pass. Nice save. Unfortunately goes right to the Baby Rattlers as the initial pass down was too far.
Game's getting a little sloppy here. The challengers probably should call timeout before they get blown out because already they're 11 points down.
51-40, 2:45 to go.
There it is again, another layup.
Delwyn Jackson, 25 points, 53-40. Here's your timeout. 16-3 in the third quarter for the Rattlers, and that's why the timeout gets called.
Okay, in the stands, there's a sign that says Air Jackson and Company, and he's surely putting on a good show over in the Florida A&M section. He has a few dunks, a few rebounds, and a lot of points. He has 25 points already throughout this game.
That gentleman right in the middle is the guy that had the Air Jackson sign that Charlie was talking about. And Air Jackson and Company is right. Jackson and Lamb, 45 of the 53 points for the Baby Rattlers. Well, now it's a miracle time for the challengers. They're 13 points down, and basically there's 10.5 minutes left in this basketball game for them.
Well, if they have a pressing defense, they're going to have to come out and try something because they're going to have to change this tempo of the game, and plus they're going to have to get some inside easy points. They went to the perimeter game, and it's really left them, and they're trying to go a little bit too much one-on-one.
Lee from the outside can't hit it. No second chance there as the rebound brought down by Marcus Robinson. Oh, Jackson again, 27 points, and he just comes up with another big shot after another big shot.
Air Jackson's putting on a pretty good show here.
Rod Say, guilty of the travel. 15-point lead now for the Challengers, or for the Baby Rattlers at 55-40 with 2:03 third period. Zanjali comes out.
Okay, now it looks like they're going to run a 2-2-1 full court press, the Challengers.
Well, here's your pressing defense that you talk about, but you can't stop that. 29 points for Delwyn Jackson.
Air Jackson and company are putting on a good show here. They have the Tallahassee people excited.
Lee comes back the other way. Can't get it. The follow, though, by Artis Felder. That is only the 5th point in the
I think
third
that's
quarter.
the first basket in about 4 minutes.
Lamb now with 22, so they have 51 of the 59 points. Offensive foul is the call there.
Yeah, he's a little bit out of control going to the basket. The Rattlers can sense this stuff now. You can see what's happening out there. And the fans are starting to get behind him as the arena starts to fill up here.
Marcus Wright picks up his first on the offensive side, as yes, the arena is filling up. I'd say we got about 5,000 people now in the place in anticipation of the second game of this doubleheader. Miami High and Jacksonville Beach Fletcher.
Number 1 and number 2 teams in the state of Florida.
Some people calling that the state championship game.
And they're probably calling it right.
Oviedo waiting in the wings for the winner of that game.
Oviedo was a 5-point winner this afternoon against Lake Gibson.
That was an up and down game that they won 42-37 in another game that featured a lot of runs.
I'll tell you, Oviedo in that ball game got off to a 9-0 run, and then by the end of the quarter, I believe they were down by 2 points.
Right, as a matter of fact, they were up as much as 10. They were up 13-3, and then Lake Gibson went on a 20-7 run. And they trailed by a pair at halftime, but came back and won it.
Air Jackson just made his 30th point of the evening.
And that's his first free throw of the game, and only the 4th for the entire game.
It's amazing.
Made them both, 31
points.
The tournament high this year has been 39 by a guy by the name of Hawkins for Cocoa Beach.
No, it was by Pollard from Halladale.
Yeah, well, he had 30.
He had 39.
And the other kid had
35.
Little out of control underneath there, but Lamb makes it count. 24 for Lamb, and this 1-2 punch may be a knockout punch for the Challengers.
I think they're putting a knockout to them. They're just shooting now. They're shooting the ball outside. They're not even trying to get the ball inside. And they're already down 19 points. And it's all happened here in the third quarter, because we started the quarter 37-37.
Should we tell you who? He's got 33, matched his uniform number. 23-point change. 65-42, 17 seconds to go here in the third quarter.
Well, I'll tell you, when you come up here 31-0, they just had a rough time in this third period. And it's something that Coach probably will not forget for a long time. Going to the semifinal game, at halftime, or tied up, and they came out here and I think scored 5 points in this period, while they gave up something like about 22 or something like that.
Well, for Hollywood Christian, they're going to talk about the nightmare on Madison Street, and that's the street that borders here at the Tallahassee Civic Center. This third quarter has been unbelievable for them, as they've only scored 5 third quarter points. 28-5, as a matter of fact, is what it is here in the third quarter.
28-5. And they're at the free throw line again. They may score 30 points in this period.
It's one of the few things that's gone wrong for FAMU here in the third quarter. They missed a free throw.
That's right, and they haven't shot very many. If they'd have been shooting free throws, no telling what the score may be.
Farrell makes that one. That's only his third point. 66-42, 7 seconds on the clock. Ricky Reamer's back in the game. Marcus Wright inside, but before he got inside, he traveled. The wheels have come off the cart and then some.
That's right, they're back in there.
The wheels have come off the cart and the cart fell in the ditch.
Now they're back to a man-to-man full court. They're going to end up getting a layup here again.
and it falls in at the buzzer.
Delwyn Jackson.
35 points for Delwyn Jackson, and it's 68-42 at the end of the third quarter.
The Air Jackson signing company just went up again.
31-5, Charlie, here in the third quarter.
Basketball tournament, the halftime score for Florida State University.
Major funding for primetime sports was made possible by grants from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and the Florida Legislature. Production assistance, staff wardrobe, and most valuable players awards have been provided by Midway Sports. Midway Sports has been a proud sponsor of Channel 17 Sports for 11 years. Midway Sports is located in the Mall of the Americas in southwest Dade County. Midway Sports, we thank you. Primetime Sports is a copyrighted production of WLRN-TV, Channel 17, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Ready to get underway here from the Tallahassee Leon County Civic Center as Tallahassee Florida A&M University 68.
Challengers get the ball now. What they're going to have to do, they got to come out and get the ball inside and score some points. They have to get some easy baskets. And where they're going to do it, they have to go to the basket, get the ball inside instead of shooting that perimeter shot.
Well, they have to overcome a 26-point lead after being outscored 31-5. And they can't get it with shots like that.
No, they can't.
Ball goes in the bench. And one referee overruled another. It'll be challenger ball. One went one way, one went another.
And the other one wasn't looking.
And you as a coach just love that, right?
That's right.
Wright misses the shot.
I don't know if the challengers have made a jump shot here in the second half of the game.
37 points for Jackson. He could get 50 before this one's over.
He could, the way they're playing defense. I don't know what the state record is in a game like this, but he keeps this up, he's going to be right at it.
Inside, Felder guilty of the travel. He thought it was the NBA for a minute. 70-42.
A 28-point lead.
Zanjali shut out in the second half. Felder, 2 points in the second half. Yagano, 2 points in the second half. And Tony Smith, 1 point in the second half. That's been the story of this game. That and that man right there. He's tied the tournament high this year of 39 points. Say, in and out. That's been the story of the game here in the second half.
All perimeter jump shooting.
And that shot pretty much typifies their entire second half.
That's
in and
right.
out.
In and out. And we've all been in games like that where the ball's not going to go in for it. That's when you got to be able to play that good defense. And they just lost their intensity.
Say knocks the ball up and got it back off the turnover. Ricky Reamer brings it up, passes near side to Artis Felder. Felder lost it as he went up. And the challengers will retain possession, down by 30 with 6.5 minutes to go in the game.
They're forcing too many shots.
Rebound by Myron Williams.
Here comes Delvin.
They go to Lamb.
Here he comes, a dunk.
And he missed one. That's one of the few mistakes he's made in this game.
Yes, it is.
Outside, they're going to go to Heron. And they throw it away.
Lee into the Hollywood Christian lineup.
Hollywood Christian now with 14 turnovers here in the game, and that certainly hasn't helped when Delwyn Jackson has been on fire.
Did you say he had 39 points, Rick?
Yes, I did.
Well, he's coming close to beating the team by himself. It's 39-42.
And we'll keep our eye on that now. FAMU basketball, 5:49 on the clock. Myron Williams will inbound. Kenneth Lewis back in the game. Shot is up and no good. Myron Williams got the rebound. He put it off the glass and it drops in. His first 2 points in the game.
Goal by Myron Williams.
Say gives off to Wright. His three-point try is no good.
Here they come again.
Jackson tries the bounce pass, but it goes right to the challengers. Into the paint, shot goes up, it's no good, and a foul underneath. John Van Humphrey on the foul. And there's 5:19 to go in the game. 74-42. It's no longer a question of who's going to win the game, it's a question now of by how much. Florida A&M University High School, the Baby Rattlers, are going to win this one and advance to the championship against Jacksonville Trinity Christian High School.
This will be their 21st victory this year. At home this year, they were 7-3. On all neutral floors when they played in tournaments, they were 6-3. Away from home, they were 6-5. So you can see the hard schedule that the A&M Rattlers play has really benefited in this tournament.
Well, it really paid off in this game here. That and Delwyn Jackson's 39 points. Ball taken away, Marcus Wright. Reamer with a pass to Heron, layup, and they make one underneath.
Goal by Louis Heron.
74-45. 29-point advantage for the Baby Rattlers with 4:50 to go in the game. Ball knocked away, but it's saved by Lewis. Lewis with a dish off, loose basketball. Ricky Reamer picks it up. Pass ahead to Lee. And Zanjali.
Well, that's 4 straight points now we have for the challengers.
Well, now they need is about 24 more straight just to get back into it.
Back in the ball game.
Oh, my goodness.
Nice pass.
And the bounce off the glass by Humphreys, and he's got 2.
John Van Humphrey.
Ricky Reamer has it rejected.
Here he comes. Air Jackson.
And he missed his second one.
Missed his second dunk.
And our statistician, a guy who's dunked a few himself, Charlie Miller, just kind of waved at him and rather mockingly. But Charlie's had a couple like that, I'm sure.
He's had a few.
Folks, you'll get a chance to see Charlie Miller for 2 more years down at South Miami.
Davis into the Rattler lineup.
Yeah, he's a pretty good ball player for a sophomore.
Streeton Smith, honorable mention All-American as a sophomore. That's not too shabby.
No, it's not. I was really proud of the way he played as a freshman, and I was probably even more proud of the way he played this year, because last month he had pneumonia. He missed part of he missed about 7 days of school where they had to keep him out of school. You know, I kept talking to Charlie about that, and he said there was nothing wrong, and I knew something was wrong. His parents finally took him to the doctors, and he found out he had pneumonia.
Charlie up walking around. How much weight did he lose? Not that he could afford to lose any.
No, he lost probably about 7-8 pounds during that period. But now he's gained it all back. He's up to his 175 right now. That's what he started his year off with.
76-47, 3:44 to go, and the Rattlers call the timeout here as coach wants to get something squared away with all the substitutes that are in the game. The last 3:44 of the game will be played without Delwyn Jackson. He finishes the night with 39 points, takes a seat on the bench next to Coach Ron Lang, who's very happy his team will be in the state championship.
Felder at the line.
Artis Felder, 9 points in the game. Make it 10. Highlights have been few and far between here for Hollywood Christian, as that third quarter was a nightmare for them as they were outscored 31-5, and that's been the difference in this game.
A 26-point turnaround in one period is going to send them to the state championship tomorrow night.
And they will face Jacksonville's Trinity Christian in that Class A championship game.
At 7 o'clock here in the Tallassee Civic Center.
Of course, we invite you all to stay tuned for our next game of the doubleheader, the 4A semifinal game between Miami High and Jacksonville Beach Fletcher.
The 1 and 2 teams in the state of Florida.
Their nickname, interesting for the Tallahassee area, they're called the Senators. This being the state capital and state senators, the nickname fits well. Shot is up and no good by Marcellus Davis, who's in the game for the Baby Rattlers. They're guilty of the travel off the rebound, and 3:10 left on the clock.
Timeout.
And now Hollywood Christian calls the timeout here with 3:10.
Report to the scoring table, please.
Well, there's the scoreboard here at the Civic Center, and this is the last event that they'll use that scoreboard. Folks at the Civic Center are going to replace it with a scoreboard similar to the one at the Miami Arena with a big video board in it. And that will be taking place in the coming months here. So when everybody comes up next year, they'll have the video replays to look at. Tony Smith's shot goes up, no good. And the tap, though, is put in by Say. That's his first points in the second half. Under 3 minutes to go now, 76-51. And the Baby Rattlers come up in the front court. Kenneth Lewis loses it away, and a ball taken by Tony Smith. Smith to Zanjali, and here come the challengers. 3-point try, off, no good, loose ball. Say picks it up for the challengers. He'll pop the three. In and out, no good. And again, that type of a shot just typifies what's happened to them here in the second half.
I'll tell you, it's all perimeter shooting. Of course, I guess when you're down by 25 points and 2.5 minutes to go, I guess you better put up a threes.
They go in the paint to Felder. Felder gets clobbered. And it looked a whole lot worse, and it sounded a whole lot worse than it was.
He got up right away. He's okay.
Foul was on John Van Humphrey. That's his third.
He didn't go to Steve Edwards School of Acting.
Yeah, Steve did get an Oscar last week, didn't he?
That was a good performance.
Bob Coppin was great on the telecast. What a sham, I want my money back. Of course, I immediately threw gas on the fire by saying that Edwards' performance was worthy of a WWF. But everybody took it in good stride. Loose ball.
Here we go.
And here comes, well, I thought we were going to see an intentional foul there.
That's what I thought too.
Tony Smith picks up his third foul. We'll come back the other way, and this is where the game slows down.
Yeah, I just hope they don't start fouling when you're down 23 points. This next 2.5 minutes could be another 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, you just want to hope that the referees let them play and the players don't get a little too crazy here. As you look at Tony Smith, he's got... the
A&M only has now 14 fouls, and the Hollywood Christian has 5. So it's another 2 shots before we even get, 2 fouls before we get in a foul situation.
Bounce pass underneath goes away, intended for Javis Scrivens, who's in the game.
He threw that to the Tallahassee Democrat photographer.
And we come back the other way, 2:15 on the clock now. And the ball stripped away. Marcellus Davis will put it up, in, and he'll go to the line. And Marcellus Davis and Tony Smith have a few words.
They just wanted to see what the weather was like up here.
Yeah, and it's cold.
It's cold. Just as they were shooting in the third period.
Good analogy.
I believe it was colder here than what they shot.
It was close, I'll tell you what.
It was close, there's no doubt about that.
I don't know about you, that first night we were here, boy, it made me think of the trip that I went on with Bob Coffin into Kentucky. It was at low 20s.
Yes, when we pulled in, it was 29 degrees. When we got in here Wednesday night. And that's a hell of a change when you're coming in here from 85-degree weather in Miami.
Boy, is that the truth. Make a 7-hour trip by car, and all of a sudden, you're literally in a different temperature zone, much less anything else. Long outlet pass. It goes to Davis. Davis with a layup. He's got 4 points now, 145, and it's 82-53, back up to that 29-point lead. Say with a shot outside, it's no good. Javis Scrivens with the pass.
Here comes the orange and the green.
This time they're not playing the defense, so they're just kind of coasting for this last minute and a half. 3-point try by Lee, it's no good.
This is park ball, Tallahassee style against Hollywood, Florida style.
And Lee commits the backcourt foul with 1:18 to go. And we're going to get some more subs back into the game.
Well, that's good. The coaches are giving their players a chance to play in a state championship game. This is something that they won't forget. The only thing Hollywood Christian will want to forget is the third quarter. It took them 1 quarter to take them right out of a possible state championship game.
Well, they had all the momentum going in at halftime. They had tied the game on the free throw after time expired.
Even had a chance to take the lead, and then ever since then, 8 minutes that they won't want to remember.
Turnaround jumper by Rod Say. It goes in and out, no good. And we get a foul off the rebound. Charlie, as we do for all of our telecasts here, the state championship is no exception. We'll pick an MVP for Hollywood Christian in this game. And our likely candidates, Artis Felder and Zandra Lee, along with Rod Say, perhaps.
I like Zandra Lee.
And Lee finished up with 14 points and 12 in that first half, but in that second half, nobody was able to do too much. I'll go along with you. So Zandra Lee will be our Midway Sports Primetime Sports Most Valuable Player for the Hollywood Christian Challengers in this Class 1A semifinal. He'll be the recipient, as through the school, of that fine MVP shirt from Midway Sports.
I'll tell you, Tito and Furman do a very good job down there at Midway Sports.
Now, they've been supporting Channel 17 Sports now for more than 11 years.
They do a very good program helping the athletes and everyone in Dade County in all sports. I really like to show my appreciation for what they've done for us at South Miami basketball.
Well, now there's 67 seconds left in the game. And I'll tell you how bad of a rout it is. The guys that are on the bench are already putting their warm-ups on. They're getting ready to leave the arena. You can see them in the upper part of the screen putting their warm-ups back on.
And the Rattlers, they don't have far to go. They got about a mile and a half from here and they're home.
Really?
And that's a long trip for a state championship.
Now this place is going to be packed here tomorrow as they go in, because both Tallahassee teams are in the championships now.
Right.
Rickards. Boy, they squeaked in, didn't they?
Yes,
1 point
they did.
win.
1 point game.
So Davis now with 5 points, and we hit the 1 minute mark. A 31-point lead. There's Ricky Reamer. Harry Kennedy's in the game. Shot from the outside, it's no good. Last touch by the Baby Rattlers with 54 seconds.
You have to feel sorry for Hollywood coming up with a 31-0 record. But it just shows you the competition. Like Rick said before the game, they played very good competition here, this Florida A&M team. And it shows that when you play the better competition, it's going to get you ready for primetime basketball.
Let me dig out this schedule that they played here, and we'll kind of tell you some of the quality of the teams. They played Tallahassee Rickards 3 times. They played Tallahassee Leon, another 4A team. They played Brandon, who's a 3A team. They played the defending Class A champs, Malone. They lost to him, then came back and beat him in the sectional to get into this tournament.
And then they beat Quincy Shanks, who's always a very highly represented team.
Exactly, another 3A team, and against Leon again at the end of the year.
And then when they played Rickards, it was a 5-point ball game that I heard could have went either way. And Rickard right now is the #1 team in 3A, and the only team in the state of Florida to beat Miami High.
Shot from the outside is no good. Kennedy got the rebound. He put it up and missed it. Down to 30 seconds on the clock. Layup off the glass goes in for Bam Rose, and now everybody has scored for FAMU. 22 seconds on the clock, 88-53. Well, the folks down in Hollywood, the only thing they're going to remember is this loss that ended their season 31-1, but think about those 31 straight wins. And then you can build on it for next year, because this is such a young team, Charlie. They've got, of the starting 5, a sophomore and Rod Say, and juniors, and Tony Smith, Zandra Lee, and Harry Kennedy, along with Marcus Wright and Artis Felder, all coming back.
Right, so they're going to be very hard to beat next year in this classification of all. Very, very hard. They got a very good 1A team, and like Rick said, they have 4 of their 5 starters are returning, and they're top players. That's the best of it. They're going to return a very, very good ball team next year, and it's a good chance they could repeat and come back here to Tallahassee.
Well, perhaps Ken Cannon can take a page from Ron Lang's book and try and play some of the bigger school competitions and work things out and try and improve their schedule.
And it just shows you how the game ended.
Yep.
Reamer had a layup with no defense, and he missed a shot. And that's a hell of a way to end your season.
And you know what? That's kind of typical of the way the whole thing went. Final score, Hollywood Christian losing it 90-54. And they only scored 13 points in the entire second half. Charlie, final comments before we go to our Miami High game.
Well, the one thing I could say, I was very, very impressed with Florida A&M, the way they played the ball. They pushed the ball up the court. They knew who their go-to guy was. They made sure that they got the ball to Air Jackson, and he put on a show tonight. He scored 39 points and was definitely a big-time ball player. I was also impressed the way Brian Lamb, for a sophomore, played. He handled the ball out in front very well and distributed the ball to all the thirds, and he's averaging 19 points as a sophomore now. Like Rick said, I believe Hollywood Christian next year, maybe coach should try to get him a little better competition. Maybe the competition that he has to face down there is not what it's going to take you to win a state championship here, because the smaller schools in the northern part of the state play a much tougher schedule than what the schools down in the South Florida area play. And I just believe, you know, if you play that harder schedule, it's going to make your tournament tough, and that's what it's all about.
Well, FAMU ends up shooting 42 of 74 for the game. On the other side of the coin, it was 27 of 65 and 3 of 16 from three-point land, and that's the reason that they go down to defeat 90-54. The other thing is they get outscored in the second half, 53-13.
53-13.
So FAMU will play Jacksonville Trinity Christian in the Class A championships, and we invite you now to stay tuned for the second game of our doubleheader. The Senators from Jacksonville Beach Fletcher against the Stingarees of Miami High.
Fans interested in purchasing a video.
Ready for the starting lineups in the 4A semifinal. Andre Cooper, Jeremy Hart, Eric Black, James Harper, and Tony Dingle for the Senators of Fletcher High School. They're 30-3, coached by Bob Roden. For Miami High, Ed Farquharson, Alan Edwards, Steve Edwards, Julio Jimenez, and Devin Davis. For